And I knew when I started something like this, like there's some monotony to it. And I thought, I've got to keep the creativity going. So for my company, I do like new flavors each month. And then
What's
just
your favorite
really
flavor?
have fun with it.
Thank you for coming, Whitney. It's so great to meet you, and we're going to talk all about you.
Yeah. Oh, no. I always love to like have my food be like the forefront, and I'm like kind of standing behind, and then I loved watching like people's faces, and like that's what brings me joy.
That's like me. I was in the pharmaceutical biotech for years, and then I really started a campaign. I left a very happy career is how I might say it, I really saw a need for natural things and to really help with wellness. But I wasn't even allowed to be on social media because of what I did in those companies. And so being in the front has been so hard for me because I'm used to working behind the scenes and research and science. So it's been this major transition. I'm much more comfortable if people like a product than me having to, but I even get embarrassed. And I'm sure you know this. I like it that it helps people. I'm sure you like it when it tastes good. It makes people's lives happy. But after a while, it embarrasses me a little bit too. But the Rahm Foundation is really great. Thank you for doing this because we're really trying to give back. We have a mentorship program. Because we work in 80 countries, we do a lot of philanthropic and humanitarian work. And we don't show enough of it. In fact, someone said, it looks like you're changing clothes and traveling everywhere. And we actually work a lot and we do a lot of things. But we do this mentorship program in Nashville and internationally where we help kids all over the world and teach them business and teach them the reality of, because it looks great on social media, but it's a lot of hard work. So you being here and contributing your wonderful cookies and food means a lot. You know, food is what nourishes the soul. So if you can have really good food, it matters. So thank you. And I can't wait to hear about you because you're what? Ted just brought me this. I know your cookies now. I remember these. Are you on 12 South? Where are you?
We are in coffee shops throughout Nashville.
I see,
all the way to Spring Hill. When I started, I really wanted to like bring this style of cookie. So it's like, a big, thick cookie. I wanted to bring that to Nashville area. Like there wasn't really anything like it. And it kind of started in New York. And I started in 2019. And I was creating cookie recipes. And really, I didn't know that I wanted to do a cookie company. Like someone said, hey, why don't you do this? And I have cookbooks and I've traveled and I've cooked all over. And so I thought, well, just cookies. Like, I don't know if that's the direction I want to go in. So I really just like prayed about it.
Did you win cookies from Master Chef? Because you were the first year's winner. You're famous. So I said, I'm going to touch you again. No, you really, but you didn't, it wasn't on cookies.
So I didn't do it specifically cookies, but desserts were something that I specialized in. And
what's your favorite dessert to make?
Now I guess really it is cookies because I have just really found like a love for just being creative. And I knew when I started something like this, like there's some monotony to it. And I thought, I've got to keep the creativity going. So for my company, I do like new flavors each month. And then
what's
just
your favorite
really
flavor?
have fun with it.
I'm asking these questions because I'm going to really go buy these. I really want to know.
So I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi. I love Southern things. And so peach cobbler cookie is my favorite. And we use Loveless Cafe's peach preserves in it.
I love Loveless
Cafe. And it's
Cafe.
just simple. Like they just do peaches, sugars, they cook it. It is amazing. And
do we have any here?
No, I didn't bring any.
But listen, we have a CEO event. We have people coming in from like the Vatican, from Malta, did they tell you about it? From Armenia, like all over the world actually, and in the United States. I'd love to, I want to get in touch with you because I want you to bring some of those cookies or us buy those cookies from you. And you meet some of the people. Do you ship this?
Yes, we ship nationwide.
That's awesome. So tell me again, so I'm listening. You like the cookies.
The flavors of them, like using natural ingredients, like knowing what's in it, using things that help enhance the flavor. I always say if you taste our cookies, you can taste the difference in the actual cookie. It's not like what you just put in it. It's a bunch of sugar. Like you can taste flavor. And that is what hopefully, sets my cookies apart from other people when they try them.
Well, we talk a lot. I don't know how familiar you are with our companies. We have about 22, but one of the main sales companies is the Root Brands. And I'm the formulator and I'm the scientist. And so people will ask me questions. And I said, it's kind of like cooking, like when you make, but as a scientist, I look at bioavailability, safety, and efficacy, which is just a little bit, you know how it is, it's a different twist. I'm an artist in different ways. And so I really incorporate that in. And I say that to people when I make something, I don't always know how it's going to turn out. I don't always know if I'm going to like it or if I'm going to use it or if it's going to be for someone else. And usually I'll do like literally 17, 21 variations of one formula. Sometimes I'll do 100. Sometimes it'll take me 2, 5, 10 years. I mean, honestly, to make something, because you know how it is. You're like, that just isn't right.
Yes.
And so I identify a lot with artists. And we ended up starting a company called Under the Red Chandelier so we could highlight people like you and what you do all over the world and really showcase them, because it is an art, but it's also a science to do what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? It really is.
It really is. Especially, so that style of cookie, the big cookies, one question people ask is like, how do you get them to be so big?
Well, when you handed me this, I'm going to save it because of my daughter, because I think she's upstairs and she probably doesn't want to come out because there's so many people here. She's 18, she's an artist and a musician, but I was wondering how it was so big.
And it is the science. Like, I didn't even realize how much until I started. And then I was like diving into all of these books and just like research and like pulling out scales and, just all these different things that I had not really quite dove into it as much. And then, you'd think it's just cookies until you are into it and you're like, this is a lot. This is a lot to think through. When I add like fruit flavors, you can't do too much liquid. I use like freeze dried and then make it into powder, and like there's so many things
it's
and
like
ingredients.
Same with me. Like I try to explain to people, I source the ingredients we have from all over the world. We're manufactured in the United States, but I have to source, and then I try to explain that I'll boil, I'll heat, I'll freeze, I'll frack. Like I do all these different things. It makes a huge difference. And people will be like, well, I read it on the label and it says vitamin C. And I'm like, well, I have the patent to get rid of lectin, which is the poison basically, or the things that can hurt you. And actually it can help you from a chemotherapy perspective, but it can hurt you if you have too much in like plants and seeds and oils. So I try to explain this. It's not that simple, just the ingredients. It's also how you make it and the process, right? And you understand that. And most people don't understand that because they just look at a label. Because if you look at this label, someone else could put these ingredients, but it wouldn't taste the same.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't be made the same.
That layering, it's how it's put into the process. So my mixer is almost as big as I am.
Really?
And it's huge. Like, it's hefty. So you might think, well, gosh, like you should be 500 pounds eating cookies, but I like lift weights. I lift 50 pounds of cookie dough, and my background's actually nutrition. And so when I first got out of college and I was putting my cookbook together, I was taking spins on my great grandmother's recipes, taking away the canned stuff, using the fresh, like doing different methods. I did like a version of like a fried green tomatoes. But instead I toasted the actual like crumb that you put on top of it, like the cornmeal, and baked it. And it was just like, it gave this flavor like it had been fried, but really it didn't touch any kind of oil. But just thinking through and like being creative, that's something I've done. And my dad has neuromuscular disease, so I've worked with creating recipes for him. And so it's, I do more than just cookies, but I love to be able to like help people. And
that's
so
awesome.
My vegan cookie, my gluten-free cookie, to me, it's like, if you're going to indulge in something, like I want it to be worth it,
Oh yeah. Do you have the cookbook that I wrote? It's based on diseases.
I saw it downstairs.
You're welcome. We'll give you one.
Okay.
Remind me, and then I will send you some of the products. I would love to have you incorporate. We have a product called Relive Greens, where I source the plants and make sure that there's no GMOs. Of the seeds or plants, and then I also the parent plants for the species, which is a lot of work. And then it actually took me a long time to create the process. I started working on that formula when I had brain cancer. I had a prolactinoma, a pituitary tumor, after I had my son, and I wanted to not be on constant drugs. And so I started researching spirulina and chlorella and chlorophyll and algae and everything. And I sometimes will put it, my friend Joy puts it in margaritas. I've done the same thing. But I'd love to give you some of those products to have you just try them in your cookies. Because I went back to school in nutrition, by the way. That wasn't my background at all. I was in psychology, then I went back into bioscience engineering, and nanotechnology, but I went in to do something that people don't understand. I was trying to reverse the impact of GMOs and what's happened to our plants. And I was really sad because Europe just changed some of their laws. They're letting it back into their country. So I try to do processes in my formulas that will basically clean the inside of the body, because we are around a toxic environment, and what we eat matters. And you know this, you can't make everything perfect. Even if you get rid of the canned food, even your organic food is exposed to pollution, right? So we try our best as a company. It's hard because 80 countries in sourcing and regulatory and legal. I would love to send these all over the world. I don't know how hard. It's hard for us outside the United States, but we do bring in some products that are only United States based. So we'll have to have a meeting and talk about how we could possibly collab with that.
Yep, and just like being aware of like different creative ways to like add color. So like I know you can add color.
I'm not great at that though.
That
just
kind
so
of
you know.
thing too.
Yeah, So I didn't study. Really, my expertise is bioscience, nanobiotechnology, so making sure it's bioavailable, safe, and efficacious. I did study a little bit the taste, because you have to know it, you know, but I don't think that's my expertise. So, for example, when you work on Tom's toothpaste, you want to deliver it into the gums correctly, right? But I was never the person that worked on the taste as much. So you would probably know more than me. I do alter the taste, and I do have to sample it myself. It's like, and that's hard for people to understand. I will work on the products, and I'll have them shipped after they're done, because I have to either go in the clean room or go into the lab. It's very similar, and I tell our audience that to them making food. It just has to be in a clean room and has to be, because you're sterile and everything else. But I'm excited about trying these. I am kind of gluten-free, but I'm not like Ted and Patrick. I eat it a little bit. I eat it a little bit. It's just that if I eat a lot, it kind of hurts my stomach. But you have the gluten-free ones too, right?
I do have a gluten-free. I have a vegan.
Is it what kind of, is it the chocolate chip gluten-free?
Yep. We do a chocolate chip gluten-free and a vegan gluten-free. I just, because our kitchen's kind of small at the moment, when I expand, I'd love to like offer, you know, other flavors. But I knew it was like, everyone loves a chocolate chip cookie. So like start there and then, you know.
Yeah, everyone loves chocolate chip cookies. I don't know anyone that doesn't like classic. Yeah. My daughter, like I said, loves them. Actually, my son does too. Well, we'll have to give you some of, have they given you any of the products yet? We'll have to give you some of our products so that you can try it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's kind of like our cookies. There's lots of products that are similar, but we're a little bit different because of what we're just trying to clean, and I always say remediate, which means replenish, you know, the body. But it was really nice to meet you, and I'm so thankful you're here.
I really love talking and finding those like similarities and like what we both do. And I love just like, I have kids, and I think through what they're eating on a daily and like what they're putting in their bodies and helping fuel them.
How many of these cookies do you let them have a day?
No, I'm the mom that's like, you cannot have that.
Well, one's okay. How many calories are in this cookie? Do you want to tell me?
It's shareable.
Well, you know what? I have to say this. People make fun of me because my parents let us eat two bites of something, and we could get away with not eating anymore. If when it was ice cream or cookies, we wanted all of it. But my mom's rule was like, okay, you can have 2 bites, but you can only have 2 bites of like the cookie, right, or the cake, if that's what you do. So I like small. I don't really ever eat a whole dessert. I just take a bite.
I have mini cookies too.
Oh,
and we sell those in our store.
Are they big like this?
And they're downstairs.
Oh,
so you have like little bites, yes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I would always joke though, because I'd bring them to an event with women, and they're like, "Oh, you just can't eat those big cookies," and then they'd like eat as many of the little cookies as
that was me. I'm like, I don't eat a lot, and then I eat the whole plate because I love cookies. It was one of the things my grandfather. We made gingerbread and chocolate chip cookies for Santa Claus every year, and then we did sugar. Anyway, he was so much fun. My grandfather Merritt was a farmer, but they owned a bakery. And so it was really neat. He was always cooking. And when he died, I remember sitting there thinking, I'm never going to eat his food again. And my mom tries to make it like he does, but cooking is truly an art. And honestly, it's a legacy too that you're passing on. But there'll probably never be anyone that makes it exactly like you. So thank you. Thank you for being here. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, those food memories, that's special.
They're the best memories. I know. The food and the smell of the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it triggers that.
Well, thank you. I need to come to your to smell it in your restaurant. Do you have a
restaurant? In my bakery.
In your bakery. We'll have to go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Whitney.